Welcome to the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad podcast with Chris Finn, a production of P4S Golf. Welcome to the Golf Fitness Bomb Squad. My name is Chris Finn, and today I want to talk about one of the coolest, what I would call experiences of my professional career, particularly in the field of golf, called golf fitness, performance rehab, whatever you want to call it. And the reason I want to share this is I think there's a lot of people out there who run into things in life that are tough, whether, particularly in the golf space, whether it's, a lot of physical injuries or things that they need to overcome. And so I just think this is such a cool story that I've actually never shared publicly before. But just some stuff that's happened recently, I think inspiration sometimes doesn't get shared enough. And I'm definitely one that doesn't tend to share a lot of successes. I'm always on to the next, but this story is one of a pretty cool success. And so I had a gentleman come in. We were in our old building, so this had to be, 3 years ago, probably. He was in his late 50s, early 60s. He had diagnosis of he had cancer. Had gone through all the chemo. He was a big golfer prior to the cancer. And basically in a side effect of the treatment was he ended up basically losing all function of his lower extremities, and was told by doctors he would never walk again. He's stuck in a wheelchair. And it was a pretty shitty situation. Just to, such a cool guy. I'd known him for years since I started out in the shed. I'd worked with him and his wife. They'd kind of known me and my career in the building of P4S Golf. And so for him to come to us after he basically had finished his insurance-based therapy, and they told him, hey, you're as good as we're going to get you. And so then he came over to us. So he was in a wheelchair, and I'll never forget the first time just trying to get him to stand up out of the wheelchair and just standing. And we were just working, literally, could we stand without his knees buckling, weight shifting a little bit left and right. Literally couldn't stand for more than probably 10, 15 seconds. This guy had the absolute heart of a lion, and he worked his butt off. Everything asked of him, he did at home. His wife was an absolute champ, bringing him, every time, multiple times a week for working out and getting back. And I'll never forget, we went from, I remember we couldn't stand. And then the next stage was all right, let's just get to standing. Now let's get to weight shifting. And we got from weight shifting, it was, let's get to walking. And I told him, I said, man, once we were walking, you're going back to that doctor, and you're going to walk in that office and you're going to tell him off. And he was too nice of a guy to ever go and actually tell him off. But I just always thought that would have been such a cool feeling if that ever happened to me. Lord knows I would do it. He's a better man than I. But I'll never forget, we went to go try to walk, and I said, all right, we're going to walk from here 10 feet. And he looked at me like I was nuts, right? He had a walker. And we got 10 feet. We had somebody follow us with the chair, and that 10 feet then became 20 feet. And the 20 feet soon became 100 feet. And then 100 became 300. And then we started doing it with a cane, right? Or actually with, forearm crutches. Then we did it with one crutch, just a cane. We eventually just started doing it with nothing, right? And it was never the prettiest looking walk, but he could do it. It was functional. He could get back to, he owned his own business, in kind of construction. He was going out to sites. He was able to walk on the sites. And one of the coolest things was when we actually got him to the point of getting back to starting to swing a golf club again. And he basically, ended up being a balance exercise where we'd have him swing, and he'd fall down every single time. So we had to rig up this whole thing to help him kind of try to catch him without us getting hit by a golf club. He rigged up something in his backyard that held him up basically in a harness while he could swing to practice on it. Him and his son built it. Dude, this was 2 years of just grinding, and he continued to get better, continued to get stronger. He was deadlifting with a hex bar, close to 200 pounds. And this is from a guy who could not stand up to now, deadlifting, hex bar squatting 200 pounds. He was walking. swinging a golf club. We actually even got to the point where in the simulator here, he was able to swing and play on the simulator, play golf on the simulator. And, you know, for him, for us, it's emotional for all of us. He's a good friend, and and I think was such an emotional win for everybody involved that, just those types of stories are not shared, of the resiliency and the tenacity of somebody like him, that he could come back from that. And he got back to playing the game of golf, and golf was that was like the cherry on top, to get back and swing a golf club and try to get back playing. And, and to see somebody do that and to be involved in it firsthand, and another therapist here, John, who worked with him very closely, particularly on the back end of it. It's so inspiring to see. And when you hear somebody, hey, my back hurts. I can't play more than a couple days. I think I'm just going to give it up. It's like, no, like, you just haven't found what the actual cause of it is. Like, we just got to figure out what the cause is. Once you figure out what the cause is, we can tell you what to do, and then you can fix it. Like, it's just a matter of, are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to put in the effort? And it doesn't need to be a ton of effort, right? And certainly nowhere near the effort that he put in recovering from that. But I just wanted to share that, it's kind of an inspirational, for maybe someone listening. Maybe you are going through a tough time. You're frustrated, dealing with an injury or whatever it may be. Just don't give up. Like try to figure out what's going on, the cause of it. And let's keep playing this game. I mean, particularly when it comes to the game of golf, my number one goal is to keep every single person playing this game as long as possible. And if, I've a lot of stories of guys emailing or calling and saying, like, I'm about to give up the game. Like, this is my last shot. Right. And you got to talk them off the ledge. I mean, some of them, they don't even say this is my last shot. Like, hey, I'm going to give up the game. This is what's going on. Nobody's been able to help me. And when you actually start talking, you get to the root of the cause. You used all the science and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's wild to me how many people came so close to giving up that we were able to help. But it's even crazier to me knowing that there's 100x the number of people who we weren't able to help, and who maybe just gave up before we had the opportunity to help them, or didn't go to somebody local to them to help them. And so I just wanted to kind of put this episode out there, a little different kind of, I guess, vibe, if you want to call it that. Just to, don't give up. It's find what the cause is. Don't treat symptoms, treat causes. And if you're willing to work, find someone who's willing to work with you to get to that solution and figure out what the answer is. And it's rare that you see something on the physical side that you can't fix, when it comes to golf and injuries in the game of golf and those sorts of things. So I appreciate the year, appreciate the listen. Hopefully that helps somebody. Hopefully, if you're struggling with something, thinking about giving up, don't, keep fighting, because the sun does come up. And and the game is such a big part of my life. It's such a big part of probably your life, if you're listening to this. And hopefully you get to continue to enjoy it as much as I do, and you continue to enjoy it for as many years as you possibly can. So appreciate you hanging out with me as always, and we'll look forward to catching you on the next episode.